what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joy Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Hello there. Been a long time. How you doing? Everything well? Hope everything's well. So glad to be with you on a Monday morning. Corey with a K in the house. Terry,
what up? I'm
Reginald, Foster in the house.
Where you been? I thought you got eaten by a shark or something.
I did. It was like Jonah. Basically,
okay.
I spent some time inside the shark and
No, the shark bit your ass and then spit you out. Like, oh man, this dude is nasty.
Nothing to, I got brisket, I got ribs. They're not big fans of that. They like seafood and everything.
Okay.
No, Terry, we got back from Florida, and then my whole family, like so many other families, we had COVID. So,
oh man, get the fuck away from me then.
Didn't you get your shots? Well,
Yeah,
more on that.
got
More
mine.
on that
I know,
in a
but
second.
that Sean COVID, man, probably
it's a serious
blows right through the shots.
No, you know what? And please hear me out. I don't want one human being to think that I'm making light of this terrible thing. I was very lucky. It didn't hit me hard. I was very, very lucky. I was congested for 2 days. My legs were dead. It was weird. I made myself like get up and take walks just because. And then
that could be just you getting old.
That could definitely
the leg thing.
But you know what? Two days I was fine. Really, it was. I had some chills after that, but my daughter was congested. But she got cleared as well. My wife, today was the first day that she started to feel well. But again, I don't want one person to think I'm not making light of this. It's obviously something serious.
It affects so many people different ways. It's like
bam.
It's like hit or miss. It's like, okay, you can't breathe. I'll give you a congestion, and you have the sniffles. You just never, and you'll die.
When it hit me, I lost my taste and my smell instantly. My taste came back within like about about a week or so. But the smell, still hit or miss.
So I'm up here with 2 COVID motherfuckers. Both y'all can leave.
I got my shot. Reluctantly. I went ahead and did it, but I still take my natural supplements daily. So,
Terry, I told you the strangest thing about it, I had just gotten my first shot. I had been weighing. You and I had privately a couple conversations, and I don't know if I'm going to get it. Then I talked to my doctor. My doctor said, just get it. I had just had my first shot, and I got home, and my wife was like, okay, Laura's out. And I was like, oh, shit.
Then you went down with all the young kids down in Florida, partying with them on the beach.
Well, we had just gotten back. And it was what can you do? You
sure about that? I seen those Miami photos of Miami Beach. I thought I saw your mask down there. It's very distinctive.
I was.
Sean was down there.
He didn't say no.
He
didn't deny it.
Yeah, these can also be doubled as thongs. So I stretched it, and I was wearing this as my thong.
You know what they call
on
those?
The beach? What's
the
that?
way that people wear them? They're chin bras, because people just kind of wear them on their chin and stuff.
Yeah. But it was, it was weird. I wish there was another way. Terry, you hit the nail on top of the head. It is the way it affects different people.
Right.
I guess I was lucky. Thank God my daughter was lucky, and my wife's starting to feel better today. So
the wife is struggling.
She didn't. It wasn't easy on her.
But you know what the tough thing is? When mama is down, that means when you go home, you got to do some extra work.
Oh boy. I've done a lot of.
Sean, I'd love to do it, but you got to do the laundry and wax the floors and do all this stuff. They don't wax floors anymore, do they? Because we got new floors.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hit up my buddy Dave Hubbard to come over. I have a little Traeger repair that has to be done. And Dave was kind enough to say, come over. Thank you, Dave, because I have enough to do around the house right now. But no, hey, listen, and go get your shot. Just go get your shot. I don't like telling people how to live their lives. And because I don't like people telling me how to live my life.
Yeah, we're suggesting you get your shot. We're not saying get your shot, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? We just said suggestion, a little suggestion.
Yeah, this thing's running rampant, especially with the schools. It's running rampant. I'm going to say again though, because I wouldn't be able to sleep with myself if I didn't mention this. What this has shown in the past year and what's going on right now is what a horrendous waste of time it was to lock our state down the way that it did. This is a virus. This is a virus. Period. End of story. And it's running rampant right now. That's what viruses do. I don't know how else to say it. So there. Was that good? Did I get that off my chest?
That was good.
I think you did a good job.
That's called a public service announcement.
Thank you.
And we're proud of you.
No, I needed to get off my chest because a lot of us that said that in the last 6 months were called nuts and crazy and zany, and how'd that work out for everybody? It's sad that we have to deal with this, but it's a virus. A virus isn't going anywhere. You can't play hide and seek from a virus. It's a virus. I mean, come on, this is common sense stuff. So let's do our best to take care of it and get this in the rearview mirror. Is that cool?
That's it, man. I'm tired of the lives we're leading now. It's not fun. So I just want to have fun. That's what my life is all about. But, take your punishment and you got to do what you got to do.
Nope, that's exactly it. And Art, we're thinking of you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully Art will be back. Art will be back soon. Hopefully, he's doing better because Terry, as you said, it's unfortunate with something like this. For every person like me that it wasn't bad, you have somebody like Art who it's hit Art. So Art, I'm thinking about you, pal.
Really? I thought Joik said that Art was just gone as part of contract negotiations. I mean,
he wants more money.
Yeah, he said that is why we had a different producer every day last week on your show, because Art was gone a part of the contract negotiations. So
you understand Joik and Art don't get along. So they lie about each other.
No.
So man, take that with a grain of salt.
Richard said, I feel so bad for my son to test weekly for baseball, 13 years old. Yeah, this is, Terry, I think you said it best. I just want this in my rearview mirror now. I think everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to move on. We can't keep hiding.
No.
What's the best way to move on? Go get your damn shot. Go get it. It's going to still affect people. It is, because that's what it is. It's a virus. But let's all move on with life. This stopping and starting and stopping and starting hasn't worked!
But I want to add one thing. With the people, if you're getting your shot, still take your vitamins, still take your supplements, and still wear your damn mask. Like, it's the shot lessens how much COVID will affect you if you get it. It's not foolproof.
Yep. That's exactly it. All right, did we get our PSAs out there?
Yeah, we did.
We're
good. We can
now
move on.
we can move on.
Oh
yes.
Jeez, look how stylish she is. Look damn, dude. Like, I just happen to look at the screen just going, damn, dude.
Everybody has a different hat, or they're wearing their hat differently, so.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I do want? This was one of those busy weekends. There was so much stuff going on. Insert best shape of his career joke. Yes, we will get into that. It should come as a surprise to absolutely nobody. We're sitting at this point with Miguel Cabrera. That's the sad reality of what's going on. Obviously, we want to talk about the Masters and how big this is. I had a unique perspective from a bunch of professional golfers yesterday about the significance of what happened yesterday down in Augusta. And I'll share my thoughts with you guys about that. And Terry, you and I grew up in an era where when WrestleMania came, the world stopped.
That's right.
Now, I have grown out of that era, but with that being said, Corey, with a K, you know a little something about how the world stopped this weekend for a couple days.
I watched too.
Oh yeah, I am a wrestling.
Too.
I am a wrestling fan to the core, just like D-Mac, who's on the hook, of course, on Woodward Sports Network. I I was live tweeting all weekend, just watching the action. For those who don't know, WrestleMania is now split into 2 nights, thank God, because who really wants to sit down and watch 7 hours straight of it? So it was very digestible. The first night was a lot better than the second night. Second night was, they could have just, the first night they had a rain delay.
See, I didn't see the first night.
Yeah, the first night first night had a rain delay. The second night could have benefited from a permanent rain delay. It was just that bad.
So you didn't like The Fiend and what?
Okay, look, here's the thing about The Fiend. They've killed that guy's character literally so many times that I'm uninterested.
All right, how did The Fiend start?
Okay, so The Fiend basically started with, heck, Randy Orton burning this guy down, ending his whole existence.
How do you burn a dude? And you set the dude on fire. How do you do that without actually hurting the guy?
I'm gonna, you know what? Let's try that later on. I'm gonna go.
No. You have fish. Let's set fish on fire.
Let's have fish. Yeah, fish.
Let's have a fish fry.
Let's have a fish fry. I'm gonna go across the street to Speedway. I'm gonna fill up, some gas, and we're gonna experiment how to set somebody on fire without actually setting them on fire. You down, fish?
All right, we're going to talk about this when we come back. And you know what? Terry and I are 2 unique guys. We can tell you kind of the origins of this as well. And it was funny because I told D-Mac WrestleMania 3 was one of those moments. You know how you have moments with your parents? I'll tell you what that moment was with my dad. If it wasn't for WrestleMania 3, I wouldn't have had the courage to be quite the weasel that I was. We'll explain that when we come back. Terry Foster, Corey with a K, Sean Baligian, so glad you could join us on a Monday morning here on Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, interest rates have started to fluctuate, so now is the time to call Hall Financial. You don't know what is going to happen, so be smart and make the call now while rates are low, because you could be saving money. Hall Financial is fast. They do all the heavy lifting. That's what D Hall does. So make sure that you go to davidhallmortgage.com now to get started. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attention. Gang's all here. Corey with a K. T. Foster, I'm Sean Baligian. So glad that you can be with us here on Woodward Sports. WrestleMania. Terry, do you remember when it started?
You talking about 3?
The very first one, 1985, okay? They had that whole rock and wrestling thing, which was just a stupid idea, and I'm glad that they got away from it.
They do have bad ideas.
Yeah, and it was a really dumb idea. Hey, let's bring who says rock more than Cyndi Lauper? I mean, it was such a stupid storyline. So the official start of WrestleMania was something called WrestleMania 1, and then there was WrestleMania 2, which was a disaster. But as you said, Terry, the unofficial official start of WrestleMania was WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Yes. I covered that event for the Detroit News. I actually wrote stories on it.
You're hurting me.
And I had an interview with Roddy Piper.
Rest in peace to the legend, Hot Rod.
I can hear the bagpipes. I can hear them now.
Yeah. He told me a story about he was a rowdy kid, and he got mad at somebody. Instead of beating them up, he hit them in the back of the head with a can of peas. I'm like, all right, sounds good. But yeah, I actually covered it and got to meet some officials and stuff, so it was pretty cool.
You know, until they had WrestleMania at the AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play, that was still the #1 largest attendance, like over 93,000 at the Pontiac Silverdome. So it's kind of interesting, the 2 WrestleManias that they've had in Michigan, WrestleMania 3 at Pontiac Silverdome and WrestleMania 23 at Ford Field are #2 and #5 for biggest attendance at WrestleMania.
So we got a lot of fools in the state. and Ohio.
Well, you know what's funny about this? I told Mac this story the other day. Terry, I was a freshly turned 16-year-old, and all my buddies wanted to go to the event at the Silverdome.
Yes.
And my father said, absolutely not, no way, no how. You are not going there. There's nothing but trouble.
Why do dads do that?
I had the double whammy. Not only was he dad, but he was also cop. Ooh. So you know how that goes.
What's going to happen? You go there, scream for your favorite wrestler, and go home.
And we're all going to be giving each other camel clutches and giving reverse figure fours and everything. But you know what? You know what's funny about that? And I've confessed this to my father, by the way. Dad, if by some strange chance you're watching, I hope you're feeling better. But I've confessed this to my dad. I was so pissed off on that day when he said that I couldn't go, that at that point in time, I took that step that I think we've all taken in our life. From that day on, I just said, you know what? I'm not asking anymore.
Damn.
I'm just going.
I'm just gonna.
That was the straw.
That was it.
That was the straw.
I kid you not. And so after that, when it was time to go down to a Red Wing game, I'll be sleeping at Terry's house tonight, Dad. What do you mean? Yeah, Terry's having a sleepover, so I'm gonna sleep over at Terry's house. And we'd be at the Red Wings game. I'm gonna be at Corey's house, Dad. You're just spending the night at Corey's? Yeah, we're just gonna sit around and watch movies. That's when I went to the Tiger
You know what my
game.
people did? They would always say, they would ask, how many people were there? What was Corey wearing? Where did you sleep? They ask a whole bunch of questions, and then they would ask it twice. You better be accurate both times. Then they know that you're bullshitting around and you didn't actually go.
See,
no, I never got caught.
See, my dad was kind of like your dad. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even go to a high school games. Now, I can understand if I went to, somewhere like King or, DePores or somewhere back in the day that was kind of a little bit rough. I went to freaking Ferndale. What's about to pop off in Ferndale, that Ferndale high school basketball game? So he was kind of like that. My mom, on the other hand, she's like, you're a teenage boy. What the hell are you doing in the house? Go. I don't want to see you. And the thing is, she trusted me going to places that were maybe a little sketchy because she knew that I wouldn't get in any trouble. She knew if I saw something that was kind of crazy, she was like, I already know that he's going to dip. So.
Yeah, see, they always let me go because they knew I was going to stay out of trouble. Now, I went to Cass Tech, and they even let me go on the road to Pershing and Osborne. And you know what they used to do? They used to set fire of our dance team's pom-poms.
Ooh, that's cold.
It is cold.
For real?
Yeah.
That's cold.
Damn.
So they be, hey, go CT. Oh, my shit is on fire. So they still let me go because they knew I was going to be on the peripheral.
But man, you guys think? I'm thinking back to WrestleMania. I'm thinking they should bring it back. It's time. I mean, the money is here. Obviously, number 2 and number 5 attendances here. I mean, the first one at Ford, like I said, the first one in Silverdome, 93,000. Ford Field over 80,000. The question is where would it be held at?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways to go. You can go to Ann Arbor and try to break another attendance record, or I'd rather have it downtown. A week of events and lots of fun, and either at Comerica or Ford Field, and just I like everything downtown because that's where it should be.
I think it should be Ford Field because Michigan weather is too unpredictable. Comerica Park would be a beautiful sight, but our weather is too unpredictable because, like we just said, Florida had a freaking rain delay, so WrestleMania had to start 45 minutes late on Saturday.
But it rains every day in Florida. Every day.
It does. But I'm shocked they picked there.
Would Vince put it in the same venue though? Would Vince bring it back here?
I mean, he's put it in. Okay, it is Madison Square Garden, but he has put it in the Garden a couple of times. He's gone back to the same venue a few times.
Okay.
The Garden is overrated. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. Gosh, Terry, I couldn't. No, listen to me right now. Gosh, I'm so glad to hear you say that.
He's done Arrowhead Pond twice.
I tell you, the stadiums that are overrated: Madison Square Gardens, the Fabulous Forum, even though it's done now. Fenway Park was cool.
I liked it a lot. Wrigley Field. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't been. I have not
it's okay.
been to Wrigley Field.
It's all right. And I know Cub fans get so pissed at me. It's the way people talk about Wrigley Field. I half expect these angels to greet me at the door with a plate of bratwurst and here, sir, here's your bratwurst and free beer. it's okay. It's a nice ballpark. But I
Right.
guess I'm supposed to go like this and sing songs about the greatness of Wrigley.
Yeah,
and
you're supposed to do that. And you know, and you got me on this. And we also have to kiss the ass of Cub fans, how they hadn't had all these championships and how terrible their team is and how resilient their fan base is, and you still haven't done a 30 for 30 on Lions fans. Lion fans deserve it way more than Cubby fans.
Oh man, what? That needs to be I honestly need to be a 2-part 30 for 30. If we're being honest,
that needs to be a
pain and misery.
1,000 for 1,000.
You don't know. People in the nation don't know. They do not know what the Lions have done to our identities. Seriously, they don't. I say it all the time, Terry. I talk to people around the country who look at me when I say the Lions have one playoff win, and they ha ha ha. Why aren't you laughing? Because it's true. There's no possible way you only have one playoff win in the Super Bowl era. People don't get it. They don't get it.
And that would not be accepted in New York or Chicago or L.A. and other places. Those fans would just say, man, fuck, we're not going to go see this.
You know what's crazy? A couple of my friends moved down south. They moved to Texas. And literally, I just, talk the crap with them. And they like, even though the Cowboys are not great, this is crazy. This is what football looks like. Like, this is what real football looks like. Every friend I know that has moved to a different state, they said that the football team in their state resembles real football. And they never understood it, what it looked like, because the Lions lionize their fans.
You know who we were supposed to feel sorry for? Kansas City Chief fans, because they hadn't won the Super Bowl in 50 years. Okay, that's less time than the Lions have been there. Now, the morning show had a fucked up conversation today.
Oh, God.
The Stick and Atomic Dog over here.
Atomic
and Joy,
Dog!
they were fighting about what does Dan Campbell have to do to have a statue erected of him in front of
win a
Ford
lot
Field?
of games.
Huh?
He has to win a lot of games.
You got to win
like
a lot of games.
lot.
You got to win division titles. You got to win two
Super
or three
Bowl.
playoff games.
Just
No,
get on
they didn't even mention Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
they didn't
That's
mention
how jacked
that.
up they are. You do not erect a statue for a guy that wins division titles.
Never.
You do not erect a statue for a guy that's won 4 or 5 playoff games.
No. Let's be fair.
Don't.
No,
there is no fair.
don't be
There's
weak.
no fair.
I got something for you. We can agree on this. If he wins a playoff game, give him a sandwich item on a Coney Island somewhere. Name a sandwich after him. Not a statue.
Okay,
Name
well,
a sandwich
that's
after
all right,
him.
all right. I apologize for yelling at you.
Name a sandwich after him. A statue comes with winning. A statue comes with doing something historic.
No. It doesn't come with winning. It comes winning Super Bowls, as in plural. A statue is special. Do you think they put a statue of Michael Jordan because he won one NBA championship? No, because he became the greatest of all time.
6.
Even though Magic Johnson has a statue of Breslin, they made him because he's the greatest Spartan of all time. Dan Campbell has to be the greatest Lions coach of all time, and he has to win, in my mind, for multiple Super Bowls.
And let there be no debate either. Like, there's no debate. It's like, it's one of those things like when, hey, is Michael Jordan good? Hey, what do you think about Magic Johnson? There's no debate.
Right.
Like, we're not going to have a conversation over what Dan Campbell did. We are all just going to talk about what Dan Campbell did. So we reward mediocrity around here so much it makes me sickening. I'm sorry, we just do.
You wouldn't give him, okay, just off of the simple fact that he won the first Super Bowl in Lions history, you wouldn't give him at least one statue?
No, a statue is special. Statue means you're in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Statue means you are.
He broke the Lions curse. That should go to Hall of Fame off rip.
Considered you're considered the greatest of all time. It's like having your number retired.
Mm-hmm.
They don't retire your number except the Pistons.
Okay, there. Yeah, I was about to catch
unless
you.
you're great. And and Portland does that too.
Yeah.
All you got to do is
Play.
play, play for 10 years and not trash the organization, you're going to get your number retired. But the Pistons are weak on that front too. I mean, they got everybody's number retired.
I'm surprised they don't have Tayshaun and Sheed yet.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, brother.
Exactly. Exactly. Fish, what were you going to say? Let's go to the aquarium. Fish, what do you got for us?
I was just gonna say that the Lions need Dan Campbell's got to be like the greatest coach of all time. He's got to get like 600-700 wins. He's got to win like 3, 4, 5 Super Bowls, playoff games. That's
no, because this is Detroit. He just needs to win 2 Super Bowls to get a statue. I mean, when you let's look at the statues in the city of Detroit right now. You got Gordie Howe has a statue. Mm-hmm. That's greatness. Mr. Hockey. Mm-hmm. Joe Louis has a fist. He probably had one of the biggest heavyweight championship victories of all time when he defeated Max Schmeling. It was the United States against Nazi Germany. That was huge. Who else? Al Kaline has a statue. Mr. Tiger. Ty Cobb has a statue. One of the greatest players of all times. So, I mean, you have to be special for a statue. Now, for a sandwich, you don't have to be as great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give him a sandwich.
Corey, you might have a sandwich made, named after you next week.
Hey, I'm cool with it. Even though I probably can't eat it, but, I'm cool with it.
Because, the Corey's going to have corned beef on it.
Man, don't make me happy right now.
What would the Sean have? Sean would have a little bologna on it.
No, Sean's has to be a smoked item, like brisket.
Okay. All right.
Brisket and bologna.
All right.
Okay.
Some
and
bullshit. A heavy dose of bullshit on there. Yeah, we could do
Limburger
that.
cheese.
Yeah. Get that nice stank on there. But definitely a smoked meat. Yeah. All right. How about the tea? What do you got?
I don't know.
This is a drink.
Oh, I got it. I don't get a sandwich?
I think you would be a drink.
Okay, what's in that drink?
Probably a nice scotch.
And I hate scotch.
Damn, I'm wrong. What are you, a whiskey or tequila guy?
I like, tequila makes me act silly. So I'm going to say bourbon.
Oh, okay.
American whiskey.
I'll take my rye. Give me a good rye.
So you're the rye guy.
Give me a good rye. Give me a good rye. All right. You know what, Terry? I could, with you, a sandwich, I'd put a bunch of shit on there. Like, because you're kind of an all-encompassing dude. You know what I mean? I'd have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and almost like one of those racks, like the
Dagwood.
Yeah, like that. That would be like that.
I can
would
go
be
with that.
because there's a little bit of Terry here, there's a little bit of Terry there. I'd put like 3 different cheeses on it, and that would be
something mild, kind of not spicy.
Dude. Yeah, you're a well-rounded dude. Mm-hmm. Fish at the. Oh, by the way, let's head to the aquarium. Here's Fish. Good morning, Fish.
Good morning, everybody. I have a name for your bourbon. You ready?
All right.
Ready.
Foster's on the Lake.
Foster's on the Lake?
Yeah, because we're surrounded by lakes.
You want to do
That's
that?
true. I could do that.
I could.
I live in the lakes area.
Yeah. You take your walks around the lake?
I walk around. I have 2 lakes to walk around.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, we are way up against the break, but I do want to get your thoughts, Corey, on WrestleMania. Obviously, we got to get into the Masters as well. This was a significant win, no doubt about it. Golf is something that in the last, newsflash, in the last 24, 25 years, really going back to 1997, truth be told, it has blown up. Are we about to see it blow up again? I think a lot of people are saying, how much bigger can golf get? Well, it depends on who you ask. But when we come back, Terry, I'd love to hear the full WrestleMania recap from our man, Corey with a K. Terry Foster in the house, Corey with a K in the house. I'm Sean Baligian. So glad you could join us here, Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
What is up? 8 Mile Vodka, born in Detroit, is distilled in single 90-liter batches to allow for optimal quality control and care. Then carbon filtered, aerated, and bottled at the perfect time to produce a subtle taste with smooth finish and a character all its own. This is an exceptional premium vodka that can be chilled and enjoyed straight or mixed to create an exceptional cocktail. Both my wife and son very, very fond of this and creating the Moscow Mule. Now, the next time you're out, ask your bartender for an 8 Mile Vodka or pick up a bottle at Meijer. And as always, drink responsibly. My boy George is one of the guys behind this, my next door neighbor. Great guys, great vodka. Make sure that you check it out.
So if I'm going to have a drink named after me, can we use 8 Mile Vodka?
That sounds good.
Oh,
Let's roll
might as
with
well.
it. Okay.
Well, when you head over, well, I'll tell you what. We'll talk to my next door neighbor about that. When you head over sometime, I'll go, George, Terry, George, and we'll figure something out.
We got to go to a bar because that's where they name drinks after people.
Yeah, see, I can't do vodka. Just like tequila makes you a different person, vodka turns me into a Corey I don't want anybody to see.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like
Now,
I can
are you happy Corey or angry and brooding Corey?
Have you seen Old School? We're going streaking.
Oh,
That Corey.
silly ass
we
Corey.
we don't want to see that Corey.
I want to see that.
No, you don't.
I want to see that. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's.
Isn't
yeah.
it funny how sometimes there are just certain things that I'm telling you,
Yeah.
for me, it is bourbon just does something to me. I don't know what it is. Always just does something to me. I'm not a bourbon guy because of it.
Well, it's mind-altering stuff, so you never know how it's going to affect you. But it can be the happy drunk or the mean drunk.
Oh yeah, see, man, like any dark always puts me in the happy place, especially bourbon, and my tequilas. Puts a smile on my face to say the least.
Tequila. There's something about tequila just makes you nuts.
It's the party going.
I know it is.
It's the party going.
Now, my tequila moment was, I was in Mexico.
Ooh, this is gonna start good.
Juarez. And so we were down in this bottle of tequila. Mm-hmm. And it had a worm.
Oh.
So everybody's like, well, who's going to do the worm? And everybody's like, I don't know. That looks pretty nasty.
Yeah.
I did it.
Oh.
It tasted like tequila, but on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
And I just downed the worm. I would never do it again.
I'll never do it. Can't do it.
But I can always tell my friends I've eaten the worm once. And they put a little worm in there. I mean, it's like a little tiny thing in there.
Oh, wow.
And it was a worm on tequila steroids.
They put a worm in a tequila bottle. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they just do it. Fish, you should have eaten a worm because you're fish.
Oh, I don't like worms.
How do you eat them?
How do
How
I
do you
eat?
survive? You're a fish.
I just float my way
I
through.
throw things.
Oh, okay.
I take the little handfuls of the food and throw it in his aquarium.
Did you go to a resort in Mexico or actually in Mexico?
I was in Mexico on the border in a town called Juarez.
But you're in Mexico. You're not
I
on
was
a
in
resort.
Mexico. I had to go across the border. Yeah. Are you doubting me being?
No,
I've
but-
been to Mexico a few times.
But I just hate people that say I went to Mexico, but they're on a resort. That's not Mexico.
Oh, no.
You gotta actually be in
I
Mexico.
was in a bar that, bars, because what happened was I was covering the Sun Bowl, and what they did at the time is they paired you off with like little female escorts. And so they took us out, so we went over to Juarez and just got plastered.
Now I gotta guess. It was the Sun Bowl. Was this back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Michigan State USC?
Michigan State, Stanford.
Stanford. Okay, that's.
I think Stanford.
that one was ugly.
Stanford won 31-0.
Yeah, that one was ugly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there were a couple. There was, I think they beat Marinovich, Todd Marinovich, last game at USC. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm geeking out. By the way, Fish, I agree with you. And Terry, to Fish's point, there is a big difference between going to the nice, all-inclusive resort in Mexico.
That's right.
And going to Mexico.
Yeah, because I can go to a resort in Florida.
Yeah,
That's true, but some people are afraid to be in Mexico because of
Don't go.
the cartel.
Yeah, don't go to Cabo. Go to a resort in Florida. Don't
Well,
go to a resort.
I went to Cabo,
Okay.
but not in
But you
resort. I
can't
went
say
to Cabo.
you were
I
in
went
Mexico.
to the town of Cabo, not in a resort.
Oh, you went to the town.
And it was nice.
I will say this: I've been out of the country 3 times. I've been to Cancun. I've been to Punta Cana. Both times stayed in a resort. But when I went to Jamaica, I was in the hood because the person I went with, he had family out in Jamaica. So I think that, to Fisher's point, go mingle with the people, because I believe that made my entire Jamaican experience, Jamaica experience. Instead of eating the resort food, I was in somebody's backyard. They were cooking up the curried goat and the red beans and rice in the backyard on the fire, and I'm sitting there eating it, and I'm just watching this water view, and I'm like just quiet. My boy like, "You good?" I'm like, "You only see these type of views in the movies," so I never thought I would kind of be having this experience. So I just had to just take it in and just be by myself for a second. So yeah, mingling with the people, if you're with somebody who's from that area, is great.
I swear to God, the real Mexican fare, like Mexican fare and what we think is Mexican fare, are 2 entirely different things. So to hear you talk about it, Corey, like that, it made me laugh because it goes back to a conversation we had before the show started. How we got on Taco Bell and Del Taco, we did. But with that being said, like real Mexican fare and what we think is Mexican fare are 2 different things. I enjoyed the Mexican fare so badly, but honest to goodness, this is the thing I'll never forget. Word must have somehow matriculated through the neighborhood that there were a couple gringos in the neighborhood, because I'm not joking, within 5 minutes, every little kid seemingly in a 5-mile area showed up and had their hand out and were going, see.
Right.
I'm telling you, like, word must have got out.
Did they have chiclets?
See. I mean, it was there was a sea of kids standing outside with their hand just going like this. See.
They should have said, sugar daddy.
Now you remind me of, I did leave the resort at Cancun. Me and my frat brother, we went out in the city, and I had a similar experience. We were outside of a club I wasn't supposed to be at, probably when I started choking, and little kids were trying to sell us beads and stuff at 2 a.m. That threw me all the way off.
Yeah, well, they got to make a living. And that money's going to mom or dad and stuff like that.
That's exactly it. That's exactly where it was going. All right, so what was your take over the weekend with wrestling? Just keep getting bigger and bigger, no slowing it down, all of that?
Well, first off, I want to give WWE props for being able to have WrestleMania with fans. They didn't have their normal full attendance, of course, but they did have a sizable amount of fans, so props to them for pulling it off. I thought that they did an exceptional job in this aspect. They didn't have any of the names that people would know, like no Brock Lesnar, no Undertaker, no Rock, no John Cena, no Stone Cold, no Triple H, and they were still able to pull off a very, very great event. So I think that in this aspect that they kind of ushered in the new era of a new generation of wrestling yesterday by not having any of the old fogies in there.
But they had Hulk Hogan.
They had Hulk, but they had Hulk Hogan doing what? Well, okay, I have mixed opinions on Hulk Hogan. That's another story. But they had Hulk Hogan doing what he should be doing, hosting,
Dress
not
up
in the
as
ring.
a pirate.
not in the ring. But overall it was a great event. I thoroughly enjoyed the first night. I thought the action was really good. They had all the matches were great. They had this guy named Bad Bunny. Not familiar with him at all, but apparently he's an international superstar.
Bad Bunny?
Dude, I've even heard of Bad Bunny.
He's an international music star now. Normally, when they have music artists come get in WrestleMania or get in wrestling matches, I'm like, oh God, this is about to be a train wreck. I had no interest in seeing this match, and it was honestly one of the best matches of the night. He did some moves that I did. He made some wrestlers in that locker room look bad. So credit to him for just taking it seriously and going out there. Bobby Lashley, Hurt Business, kept his title. You know, that's rare. You know, Vince doesn't put the title on brothers. So the fact that one.
Oh yeah, they had the two brothers fighting for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh yeah, Big E and Apollo Crews. You know what? I like me and Kenny Burke. He's one of the watchers of Woodward Sports. Me and him had a side conversation. We agreed on one thing. Love Apollo Crews. Hate the fact that out of nowhere he picked up a Nigerian accent. Don't know what that's about. But, I mean, you know, whatever.
But that was a cheap victory, though.
Yeah.
Very cheap. You get another dude beating up your opponent and then him throwing you on top of him or throwing the guy on top. That shouldn't be allowed.
See, I came up on the day with Jake the Snake and look, oh no, Damien's out and, you know, all of that stuff.
Damien,
and Hulkster and, you know, all of that stuff. For me, it's been weird because, you know what, my kids just didn't get into it. And I think if my kids had gotten into it, I probably would have stayed into it. My kids, both of my kids, I introduced it to them. They both kind of did this to it and they never, you know, revisited it. So I never revisited it. Terry, go back though. Low those many years. I mean, you're talking 34 years ago now. Who'd have thought that this thing would become what it did?
Well, because there's different athletes. And I know it's staged and everything, but these dudes are athletes now. See, when I started following wrestling, my favorite wrestlers were fat. They had big-ass bellies, and they didn't move really well. They couldn't get up on the top rope. And now these dudes are just flying all over the place. I mean, it's a different thing, and you have to outstage yourself every year for people to be interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's Vince moved away from that. He now wants everybody to look in tip-top shape. As a matter of fact, some of their bigger wrestlers, he took them off of TV and made them go back to their performance center, their training area to get in better shape. And I don't agree with it. You know, some of those guys need to stay their size, but hey, whatever.
I miss the silly storylines. I'm not gonna lie. Fish has had his hand up. What's up, Fish?
Bad Bunny is a Latino rapper.
Yeah, I found that out over. I mean, I found that out over time as he started getting more acclimated with the WWE. You know, I guess he has one of the #1 Latin rapper songs out or album out in the world. So, props to him. But yeah, this great weekend. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing how they follow up tonight on Monday Night Raw and then transition into the new era. So
you do WrestleMania and then Monday Night Raw the next day?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then SmackDown on Fridays.
It is amazing. See, you have to remember, Corey, for a guy like me, and I think I can speak for you here, Terry. We were told how stupid this all was 35 years ago. You know what I mean?
But we were told it was real.
Yeah, it was also, it was real. But I mean, you're talking about this whole WrestleMania idea and everything. People thought it was stupid. I got to be honest with you. I thought it was a passing fad. You know, the whole rock and wrestling and the first couple of WrestleManias, and then WrestleMania 3 did something else to it. And I hope to this day, to be honest with you, there are checks going into in the name of Andre the Giant and to Hulk Hogan for creating this to what it is today. Period. And because we can talk about everything, it didn't go that next level until it was Hogan and Andre.
Right.
Period.
But when you look at that match, that was a crappy match in comparison to what they're doing today.
Oh yeah.
No doubt.
I think they still give Andre the Giant his flowers. I know that they recently, not too long ago, they did a HBO documentary where, you know, Vince McMahon actually he almost broke down talking about Andre the Giant. For Hulk Hogan, his legacy has been kind of tainted over the past couple of years just off of more and more coming out about his backstage politics, and then, you know, the whole video of him, the whole audio of him dropping the N-bomb and everything like that. And his issue with black people. It's kind of it tainted his legacy. That's why WWE had removed him from the company for X, Y, and Z amount of years. So Hogan just recently came back within the past year or two. He was gone for at least about, I want to say about 4 or 5 years.
He dropped an N-bomb?
Oh yeah, that was a really big deal.
I didn't even know.
Because he was saying that he only wanted his daughter. He was, I guess, something about his daughter, like, you know, dating black guys.
Yeah, she was dating the brother.
Yeah,
you know who else did that? Somebody I really liked, and then I had to stop watching the show, was Dog. He did the same thing.
Oh yeah, the bounty hunter.
Right. I'm like, dude, what? Just keep your mouth shut, and I'll watch this show forever. Now, I don't like to brag, but there's one person on this stage who served hamburgers to Andre the Giant.
Wow.
This guy.
What was that like?
We had third-pound burgers at the Lindell AC, and when he picked a burger up, it looked like a White Castle in his hand. And this dude would, 3 or 4 bites, it was gone.
Terry, more burger. I can hear him saying it and everything.
Well, no, he didn't say that. He would just say, burger, beer. I think he, you know what? He always had Strohs.
Yeah?
Yeah. He had about 4 or 5 of them.
As a 16-year-old lad, I got a picture with Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah. I still have that picture somewhere. I'll find it and you can all laugh at it. But
I'm sure you're a handsome young man.
I was a very, very small young man standing next to Hulk Hogan. Because back then, to your point, Corey, people weren't that big. Now it's every day. Everybody's that big, right?
Yeah.
But he was so freakishly big. It was
a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing back then. Now everybody's that big.
Yeah, but even then, to this day, Vince McMahon does not like the title on those smaller guys. They'll have it, but he wants those bigger guys. That's why you see like a Roman Reigns or a Bobby Lashley, or before that a Brock Lesnar or a Drew McIntyre.
But you know what? You can't. You at least have, even though it's fake, you have to make it believable. You can't have some little dude beating Roman Reigns' ass, because you know that's not realistic.
That's not real.
But you know what? They suffer that in the women's thing. Like Alexa Bliss, there's no way she would beat up some of these women that she beats up.
Yeah, like her and Nia Jax got in a real fight.
Nia Jax would just beat the shit out of her.
She beat some dude's ass.
Oh, she would. She's
she beat
200.
mine.
She's like 250 for real.
No, she's got to be pushing 280, 300.
Well, she's 200.
She's bigger.
That's a big girl.
Yeah, so this thing isn't going. This is still a big.
It's a big deal.
No kidding. Wow.
And now with the internet and social media, it's become even larger. So I think a lot of, and that's one thing that me and D Mac was talking about. I think that a lot of people, because they're, it's come out that wrestling is fake, they underestimate its audience. Internet wrestling community is a real thing.
I bet you more people watch WrestleMania 37 than the Masters.
You think so?
Yes, I believe so.
Worldwide, I'd say no. United States?
It doesn't matter worldwide. The world doesn't matter. Only the United States, brother.
That's true.
I don't care what you're doing worldwide. The 48 continental, Hawaii and Alaska, that's it for me.
Okay. Absolutely. Listen, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about the Masters.
Nice.
and how another thing in our lifetime on our watch went from here to here. There's no doubt about that. The Tiger effect is real. Might we see another kind of effect with what transpired yesterday down in Augusta, Georgia? We'll talk about that. Corey with K, Terry Foster, I'm Sean Baligian. So glad you could join us. Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Hey, it's time to start winning with free money from MyBookie when you sign up with promo code Woodward. They have all the games, and you can bet any way you want. Parlay, straight, against the spreads, thousands of lines and prop bets on all the games. But you have to do yourself a favor and sign up today with promo code Woodward, and they'll match your first deposit halfway up to $1,000. That is free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. Now, the best part is you always have access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Visit the website online or on your phone at mybookie.ag and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Terry, I heard you talk about it yesterday. How much of the Masters did you watch all weekend?
I watched probably 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah?
Yeah. I wanted a more exciting finish. I always root for exciting finishes, but when, what's his name, Matsuyama was like forced. I mean, you had some drama when he screwed up on the one hole late, but for the most part, it was pretty textbook at the end.
You know what it reminded me, and Corey, same question for you. I don't know how much you watch it. You know what it reminded me of is it was almost of Matsuyama was saying, I'm not going to beat myself today. If somebody's going to win, you're going to have to come out here and beat me. Period. End of story. And, you saw a couple golfers take some chances, and it cost them. I thought it was a good slow play win by the guy.
I ain't gonna front. I watched some highlights of it. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like, oh yeah, I was really into it. 'Cause I'm just gonna be real. I'm the typical guy who is typical. I'm the average black guy who, when I see Tiger playing, I cut it on. When Tiger not playing, I'm doing a little bit of this. But
that's usually me.
But I did see some of the highlights, and I do feel that it was a great victory. For first and foremost, it was a great victory, and I think that I'm not sure if his victory is going to cause like that new Tiger wave, but because Tiger think when his wave started, he did more than just win. He consistently won. So if he consistently wins, you could see a next phenomenon, because golf needs a star.
See, I don't think it's going to happen in the United States. It may happen in Asia.
You got it, Terry.
But not here.
Yep.
First of all, we don't know who this dude is.
Yeah.
Do you really care about him?
No.
No, he's from Japan. Nothing against our Japanese friends, but we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Now, with Tiger Woods was different, because we saw his dad and Tiger when he was 2 years old hitting a golf club, and we thought it was cute. Then he was on The Tonight Show and all these talk shows, and we just said, oh, what a cute little guy, and with the dad. So we knew his story. Matsuyama, this first time I really saw him.
Yeah, I've never, you were able to be invested in Tiger's story from his being a child to now. Like, this guy just popped up on the scene, like, okay, he won. Who is he?
Right. So I just don't see. They're going to sell golf clubs in Japan and Taiwan and China. But here, it's just boom.
It's funny that you say that, because I had a conversation. One of the little things that I do a golf show with some local pros and everything. And they said pretty much what you had just alluded to, Terry. The explosion, we aren't going to see it here. But over in Asia. And as one person described it, it doesn't matter if you're Korean, it doesn't matter if you're Taiwanese, it doesn't matter if you're Chinese, it doesn't matter if you're Japanese. This is going to be huge for the Asian the Asian
and good for
base.
Them. Hope they have fun.
As you said, we don't know the first darn thing about them. They also know that we don't know the first darn thing about them, and how big golf is over there, and how golf has exploded so mightily. And because of that, this is going to have a ripple effect across the pond. Are we going to feel it? No. Is this going to change the way that any of us watch or feel about golf? No, it isn't. I'm not going to turn it into something else. But something that is already blown up as much, if not anything, in my lifetime, Terry, and I'd love to get your thoughts on that, where golf was then, when I was younger, and where golf is now, I don't know if there's been a singular entity that has exploded as much, Tiger effect, as golf has. Is it going to be something like that? No, but it's going to be more of the worldwide variety, right?
Right. I'll agree with that, but it's not going to touch us.
No.
That much.
No.
Because, I'll go to baseball. Japan has had great players for decades. I don't know about them until they come to the United States.
You got it.
Don't care about them until they come to the United States. And I know it's the ugly American approach, but that's the way it is. If you do it in the continental United States, you're the man. If you do it somewhere else.
How many of these guys have we heard are can't miss and everything, and then they've flat out missed? Now, there have been a few that have come over that have done well, but look, that's the reality of it.
Right. And like soccer in this country is getting a little buzz, and that's mostly because of people who've moved over from Europe to the United States, and they've gotten into it. But for the most part, it's just not resonating here.
No. It's funny because, Terry, there are things here. I'm going to give you two examples, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. The Indy 500 used to be a massive thing, okay, growing up. It used to be a massive, massive thing.
Huge.
And it just isn't now. I mean, it's barely a blip on the radar. Horse racing was huge now don't get me wrong, I know it's big, but where it was for me growing up in the 80s, Terry, I never missed the Indy 500. I would literally sit in front of my television. I cannot believe I did it, but I never missed the Indy 500 and horse racing. All those events, starting in the first week of May and everything, those are things that just have gone like this in the past 30 years. And then you have golf, who was maybe here, just go like that. It's amazing how things have gone down and other things have gone up.
Yeah, you need a spark. And our sports plate is so full now that you can't fit everything on that plate. So horse racing, bye-bye. The Indy 500, bye-bye. And the Indy 500 started to go bye-bye when it turned from kart to IRL.
Yep.
Kart had all the big names, and the IRL just had some dudes who were fast, but we didn't know who they were. They were just going around, zipping around, and I'm like, okay, who are these dudes? And that, to me, was the demise of the Indy 500. But, the Detroit News used to send me to the Indy 500 every year. And then one year, just stopped sending me. And that's when it transitioned to IRL, when they saw that, viewership was down, readership was down, and people just really didn't care. Now, the cars are still zipping around that oval at 200 and something miles an hour, but now it's just different. Because you have to care about the personalities, you have to care about the storylines, you have to care about what's going on in TV, and just our sports plate is full.
Yep, that's exactly it. And that's why, I talk about this all the time, Terry. Like, for somebody like me, I'm the college basketball fan that the college basketball all-in guy hates. My plate is too damn full until, once football's over. I have college football going on. I have hockey going on. I have football going on. Okay, now that it's done, all right, now, there's a space on my plate clear, so I'm going to jump in and everything. And people are going, where you been? Season's been going on for 2 months, but I can't dive in in mid-November. Obviously I'm going to keep an eye on what my teams are doing and, where my boy goes to school and everything. I'll always keep an eye on what DePaul's doing, but I can't include that on my plate, even as a side dish at that point in time.
Right, but, you mentioned DePaul. DePaul used to be huge.
Huge.
If DePaul was on TV, you stopped and watched.
Yep.
Now DePaul is on ESPN 5 at 3 in the morning playing Soupy Sales High or something like that. So you just don't pay attention to them now. But, things slip on and slip off that plate.
What's funny? I don't know if you and I had this conversation, but I tried to explain that to my son, and this is almost like the boy who cried wolf. I've played so many little practical jokes on my son that sometimes, he'll look at me, I'll go, Jack, I don't think you realize how big DePaul was. And he kind of gives me the look like, Dad, you're messing with me again. And I'm like, no, son, go look it up. And
Right.
hey, Dad, they actually had that. They had a statue of that Ray Meyer guy you were telling me about. And I was like, yeah, Ray Meyer, that guy, yeah, who was huge. But isn't that funny though, Terry, about how there are certain things that I don't think a guy like Corey, do you like the Indy 500 was like this thing?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was huge. I don't
Have
know
you
how
ever
old
watched
you were.
it?
Did you ever? Were you alive when that was like a thing?
I was alive when it was a thing. Did I necessarily watch it? No, but I knew of its importance. Like Indy 500 got mentioned along with some of the biggest sporting events in the country. So I mean, I definitely
All right,
remember
let's
it.
put the young fella
All right.
to test.
Uh-oh.
Do you watch the Kentucky Derby?
Yes,
Okay. Why?
just cause. Gonna be honest. Just
What about
cause.
the Preakness?
Just cause.
Belmont?
Just cause. I watch it. Just
All right.
cause. No, don't remember none of the winners, but when it comes time to watch it, I do watch it.
All right. Because I don't watch them anymore.
You don't watch them anymore, huh?
I watch the Kentucky Derby and then I'm done.
All right. So what are the chances, though? All right. Let me pose it to you this way. All right. Corey with a K wins the Kentucky Derby. Corey with a K down the stretch.
I'm watching.
Corey with the K. All right. Then the next week, do you have to watch the second race just to see if Corey with the K can win again?
I don't have to watch, but I have more of an interest. And if Corey with the K wins the second race, then I'm watching the third race.
You got it. That's and that's exactly what I've turned into. Like if a horse named Corey with a K goes and wins the Kentucky Derby, and then wins you can guarantee you I'm in on the third race.
Somebody needs to get that horse.
I'm not gonna watch anymore.
You're a horse, man.
I'm not seriously. I'm not gonna watch anymore. All right, cool. You know what? Oh, you're not in on the Belmont? No, no.
No, Corey with the K wins the first race. Sean with an S wins the second race. I'm out for the third. I don't care.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, right? That's kind of the way it's gone. But Terry, when we were younger, and I think again, this goes back to we were just we were blessed if we had a couple Tiger games a week. You know what I mean? Really, we were. What? The Tigers are on Channel 4 Friday night and Sunday afternoon.
Right.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? I mean, really? That's what people don't get.
And brother, Saturday afternoon. Here's what we got. We got the Big Ten game at noon, and we got the Pac-10 game at 4:30. That was it. Oh, and then Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yep.
Now you get UAB, Middle Tennessee, Appalachian State. Everybody's on. You get games at night at 10:30.
I get games of people who I don't even know where they came from, but
Right.
I didn't even know schools existed.
Let me give you the hockey fan perspective, okay? You had a game on Saturday night. You always had hockey night in Canada. Then, 8 o'clock at night, okay? Maybe you got a Red Wing game during the week. Maybe the Razor, Ray Lane, had a game on Channel 50 during the week. And then, like in the late 80s, early 90s, it was like USA Network. They'd have on like one random game on a Monday night or a Tuesday night. And you were just, it didn't matter who it was. The Washington Capitals taking on the Hartford Whalers. It was the greatest night ever because you know what? You actually had a chance to see another game.
That's true. And, brother man, the Red Wing game on Channel 50 was always fuzzy.
Yep.
Because Channel 50 was not VHS and it wasn't real clear. So it was like they were playing on the moon.
Yeah.
But you're watching your local team, and I think they never showed home games. They're always on the road.
Yeah, it always seemed like and boy, I can't tell you how many times it seemed like it was 10 o'clock at night. The Wings are out in L.A., and, there's Ray Lane standing out in front of the Fabulous Forum or whatever. But no, Terry, to your point, I think that goes to show our sports plate's so full now. Forget about how many games a day do you want to watch now? You know? I mean, that was unheard of, again, for a lot of us, not that long ago. We didn't have an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, right now, like for me, I get kind of overwhelmed because there's so much access. Like even when I was growing up, there was a lot of, there were games on, but there were still like, it was still somewhat limited as opposed to right now. Like there's literally probably a game going on. Hey, Fish, there's a game probably going on somewhere right now in New Zealand, isn't there?
Yeah, probably in middle of Europe. So Belarus, Serbia. Let me actually check right now.
And the thing is, now it's access to watching, those games. It gets kind of overwhelming right now, to be honest with you. Figuring out which one to tune into, which one not to watch.
It's
and
amazing.
Trying to follow players is tough too.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt
all
about
over the
that.
place.
It's amazing how things have fallen in between the cracks. But Terry, I think this comes back to what you were talking about earlier too, especially with the Indy 500. Who are these people? Right? I mean,
Right.
it's not Rick Mears.
No.
It's not Mario Andretti. These names that seemingly were larger than life and that we grew up with. Americans like Americans. That's the way it is. Sorry, I don't know
Mario
what to tell you.
Andretti wasn't exactly American.
But he was an American, right?
Yeah, I guess.
He sounded like the guy that could have had a nice Italian eater
Sure.
down the street. But I mean, that's it. That's the way we are. I mean, it's just that's the way we are.
Yeah, I mean that is true. But you just you can give us the same product, but then there's a bunch of names we don't know. We're not watching.
Nope.
So we do, in this country, we do root for uniforms, we root for names, we root for people. We feel that's my buddy, even though he's not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen him race 3 times. That's my guy. So I'm gonna go check him out.
Yeah.
But there's just too much going on right now.
Yeah.
And if you look at every sport, about 85% of sports, if you look at their TV ratings, they're going down. And they've been going down for years. And I think it has to do with oversaturation. And some companies feel that if you just put a game on, they can sell it, so they're going to make a profit, but people aren't necessarily watching it anymore. That's why I have a philosophy about, if anybody out there is going to open up a sports radio station, you don't just do sports. You'll lose money, you'll be out of business. And I think that's the case in real life, and with sports on TV.
Yeah. No, it's it's amazing too, Corey. Here's another thing from back in my day. The NFL draft. People thought that the NFL draft being on and having NFL draft coverage was stupid. What are those idiots on ESPN doing? And I swear to God, one day we have to have this conversation. As much as he might make your skin crawl, okay? The way that the draft is covered today, we have to have a Mel Kiper Appreciation Day one day.
I'll give it to him.
And I'm not joking when I say that.
You know what? Mel Kiper is now not always the biggest fan of him, but he's a part of my childhood. Me and my uncle used to do a tradition every year. Now, I don't know if he still has them, but for I want to say about at least 15 drafts straight, we would do a draft board, and he would have the paper clippings saved from each year's draft, and we would bring them back out and compare what we did from the previous drafts, and always here's what Mel Kiper had, here's what we had. So that definitely got to give him his flowers for that.
But there's a bunch of dudes that are more accurate than Mel Kiper.
Yeah,
The reason, in my opinion, that he's so big, he's on ESPN. 2 is the hair.
Yeah, it's definitely the hair.
Yeah, those are the 2 reasons.
He was doing something different than other people weren't doing, and ESPN was doing something different that other people weren't doing. I would wake up in the early '80s and hope that the Detroit News had the recap of the draft in the paper the next day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it didn't. Sometimes you had to wait for the late edition to come in to see, and then they would have notables and where they got, this dude got drafted out of Michigan State in the 4th round.
I couldn't imagine that.
That's stuff that you couldn't get.
Ferris State.
Yeah, I give a funny story all the time. I remember the 1990 draft. All my buddies we were hanging out at one of my friends' house, and they were like, "Come on, let's go outside." And a couple of us were like, "We're staying to watch this." And they're like, "What the hell are you watching the draft for?" And now that's a running gag because it has been turned into such a made-for-television event, and dudes getting together and, Terry, you make your ribs, and I'm going to make some brisket. All right, what are you known for, Corey with a K? You bring that over. You don't have to bring anything over. We'll cook for you. It's become such a made-for-television event. That's another thing that 30 years ago, that wasn't on anybody's plate, sitting at home, chilling out, watching that all day. You know?
How about the combine?
Oh.
I thought that was stupid, too.
Underwear
But
Olympics.
Some way it's gotten on people's plates because it's part of the draft. You know, this guy ran a 4.3. This guy ran a 4.5. We care about that now.
Yeah.
Because he could be playing for the Lions.
Heck, I'm waiting for my draft. Hopefully my draft application gets approved so I can go again. I'm trying to go.
Okay, I'm rooting for you.
Please do.
What was that? See, I haven't been to a draft yet. So, I'm intrigued.
This is Mr. NFL right now.
Yeah, you know what? I've been to pretty much everything, but I have not been to a draft yet.
I would say I went to the draft they had Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last live draft. That was an experience. Probably one of my favorite experiences. The NFL really does that draft up so well. They had like they had the red carpet area. The whole media room was like filled with like over 150 seating areas for reporters.
Did you pick up one of those Nashville cuties down there?
No. I did not pick up a Nashville cutie, but
did you think about it?
But I did run into somebody who was very attractive, who is now just a friend. So we'll say we can classify her Nashville cutie. How about that?
It's fun there.
Fish, what you got?
Do you know where the draft is this year, Sean?
Cleveland.
Yes, sir. Cleveland, Ohio. 3 hours away.
Yeah.
You going?
No, I have no interest in going. No interest in going.
Corey be there.
Terry,
Hopefully.
you and I had that conversation before. I'm sorry. I've taken the been there, done that. I'll never go to another Super Bowl. No, thank you. Been there, done that. And before somebody says, oh, you won't go if the Lions are there, not as a member of the media. No way in hell would I be there working as a member of the media.
I couldn't go to a Lions Super Bowl as a working member of the media. No.
There's no cheering in the press box.
Yeah, no, that's why I couldn't go.
I love going to the Super Bowl because I got there the Monday before the game, and all you had to do is go to their stupid little press conferences and write something every day. But there were things going on that started out Wednesday and parties, and so to me that was a lot of fun.
Did you get tired of it?
No.
Okay.
I got tired of covering the game.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to cover. It's always right on deadline. The game lasts forever, and you way up in the stands, and you try to make it to the locker room and then come back and meet deadline. That was tough.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, I mean, I got to go to the NFL party every year, and they said that costs $1 million to $1.5 million every year. That was big, so I enjoyed that. Got to hang out with players now and then, and then there was like these secondary parties that were pretty cool. Plus, I was on the expense account; I didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah, we had it was weird when it was here how I ended up in a couple of the places that I ended up with when it was here. It was, how did I get here? What am I doing in this party with these people and things like that? But it was one of those been there, done that though. To be honest, I've been to a couple and I don't have any interest in doing it anymore.
Well, we're all different.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad I did it and all of that.
I would do it again if I didn't have to cover the game.
Okay.
If I could just skip the game.
I'm just going someplace to party. Absolutely.
Right.
Being at the game is an absolute hassle. Did you run into this when you were? I'm guessing that you were at Super Bowl 40. When I was walking out, I was besieged, and when I say besieged, I mean besieged by Pittsburgh Steeler fans who wanted to buy my credential and things that I had on me.
Right.
Did you run into any of that?
Yeah, I always run into
Did
every
you sell?
Super Bowl. No, I didn't sell.
I did.
Particularly before the game, I could not sell. I went to the Super Bowl in San Diego, and I picked up my credential, and the dude offered me, I had my credential for 5 minutes. Dude saw it, offered me $1,500 for it. couldn't do it because I had to work.
That's your
and
job, absolutely.
It's my job. I tried to explain to him, oh, man, come on, just $1,500. You can get another one. I said, no, I can't. Thought about it, though, but I'm a journalist, so you can't do that.
I did after the game. People just wanted memorabilia. And a dude like walked up to me and goes, "Can I buy your credential?" Why do you want my credential?
This was after the game.
This was after the game.
You know, that's a big souvenir for some people. Now, here's the other thing. They give you media pins every year.
Yep.
I sold my media pin. I probably should have sold it for more. I sold it for $100. Didn't like it. Some dude really wanted it, and they're I guess they're rare. And were they numbered? They may have been numbered. So this dude offered me $100. I said, "Here, give me $100." So yeah.
Some dude somewhere, some Pittsburgh Steeler fan somewhere, has my ugly mug up on his, I guess, Wall of Fame or whatever it would be. He wanted to buy my Super Bowl credential. And I go, "What do you want my Super Bowl credential for?"
How much you sell it for?
$150.
Okay.
What the hell am I doing? What do I care, right?
I would have held out for $250.
I had my picture on it.
They would have given me
But
$3.
you know, that's not something that you think about. I wish I did
That's
have
true.
the wherewithal with
Now,
hindsight being
what
2020.
I did is I kept my credentials for Super Bowl XL, and I have a shadow box in my basement. So it's got my credential, my locker room pass, some button or something. So it's pretty cool. So I got it down there. Now, if anybody wants to buy it, I'll sell it to you for $300. But
Dang, see, I got all my credentials in like a little clear plastic tote because I just like to keep them. Keep all of them. My uncle, he has like a little makeshift memorabilia in his house of different stuff. So certain credentials and certain things I'll give to him to let him hang it up. Like I believe he has my McDonald's All-American games credential when I went to go do a.
I thought you played in that game.
Oh no.
No, but those things mean something to me. For instance, I have a shadow box with my credentials for the last Tiger game, and at Tiger Stadium, and the first game at Comerica Park. So they're side by side. So I have my season credential. I have the ticket for the game. I have the lanyard that they give to you. And so it's pretty cool. But, it's personal to me. Nobody else would want it.
Well, it's interesting. I did this thing with tickets that I saved, and Bill Keenist, unbeknownst to me, had also done the same thing because we compared pictures. Bill Keenist from the Lions. I saved tickets from every game that I went to from the time I was 15 years old. I saved the ticket stubs. So about 20 years ago, I had all these ticket stubs, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I put them on, like, a giant frame and had them framed. And I put the tickets in random order of games that meant something to me when I was a kid, and whether it be a Lions game or when I went to Soldier Field and saw the Lions get hammered by the Bears there. So I did one of those things, and it was funny because Bill Keenist did the same thing, and we were like sending pictures of it. And then I did that, Corey, to your point, with my old lanyards, and when I first got into the business, different press credentials and everything. So I have two made strictly of tickets, and then another one just of old credentials. It's pretty cool to look at. You'd be surprised. It's more, especially with a guy like you, Terry, with the amount of things that you've been to. It's an incredible conversation starter. When people come over, they look at it and go, "Damn."
Yeah, I get people when they come to my basement. Like I have a bunch of credentials I saved from when I covered auto racing, including Indy 500, the World Cup when it was in the United States. I saved some of my credentials for that and put them in a shadow box. And what else? Just a bunch. Oh, all the NCAA tournaments I covered with the Fab Five and Michigan State, because I went to each site. So in the first round and the second round and the Final Four. So I had all those clumped together and put them in shadow boxes. So they're pretty cool to have. So it's things that you remember. You remember what happened and who did what, and so it's pretty cool. But once again, nobody else would want that but me.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listen, we're up against a break again. When we come back, talk a little bit about the Tigers. And look, the brutal reality of where Miguel Cabrera is at in his career and where he's been at his career in quite some time. I also noticed there are more and more people like me out there in regards to Al Avila. I know I said this to you a while ago, Terry. I felt this way for 3 years. The free pass that Al Avila gets in this town, I've never seen anything like it. In this town, I'm serious, I've never seen anything like it.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's a pretty good free pass, but here's the difference. At least with Jim Harbaugh, you can say he's mixed in some good. There's nothing there with Al Avila. There really isn't.
How many Big Ten titles has he won?
He's won no Big Ten titles.
Okay.
I think you know who you're talking to about that. It's amazing to me.
Just asking the question.
I'm having I'm having some flashbacks to working with a few people on Fox 2 that thought that he walked on water. But anyway, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with Miguel, the Tigers, and boy, it sure seems like people are starting to get ticked off about Al Avila and go, "Hey, wait a second, he's been doing this for 6 years now." Yeah, and it's getting very close to Millen-esque territory. Don't go anywhere. Corey with a K, Terry Foster, Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Morning, Art.
Morning, D-Mac. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. All right, so glad you could join us again. Corey with K, Terry Foster, Sean Baligian, Woodward Sports on a Monday morning. You were kind of hoping, against hope, that Miguel could, well,
he could last a month. That's what I was hoping for.
He could stay together for a month. And it would have been great if he hit the home runs that were needed and he got the hits that were needed, and then everybody could ride off into the sunset. And it just, the reality is, right now, Terry, I'm not sure he's going to get to 3,000 hits. I'm not sure he's going to get to 500 home runs. I know that probably sounds cruel to people right now, but
he will in 2024.
He can't stay healthy. This isn't anything new. This is nothing new. That's a sad reality of what we're living with right now.
Right, and so, AJ Hinch was trying to play around. Do I just DH him? And he's not the same hitter when he just does that. Do I play him at first base? He was his best first baseman, so he took the gamble, played Miggy at first base. But every time he plays first base, you risk him getting injured. Now he's going to be a better hitter. But still, he hitting 133. It wasn't like he was kicking ass. He hit a couple home runs, but damn.
Yeah, he's not looking too good. I went ahead and looked up some stuff on Miggy and
shell. Can you say the word shell?
He's a shell of himself.
Okay,
he's a shell of himself since 2016. So 2016, 38 home runs, 108 RBIs, and 158 games played. Batted .316. Since then. Well, that was the last time he batted over 300. And since then, he has not had over 20 home runs in a season. From 2017 to now, he's had a total of 42 home runs and 179 RBIs and is batting .264. In the past 4 seasons, he's only played over 37 games twice.
And he's getting paid big money, too. What you sort of had to do when he signed, you either had to sign him to a ridiculous contract or let him walk. So, but you knew on the back end of that contract it was going to be brutal. But then, if you don't pay him, you don't get the MVP Miggy, you don't get the Triple Crown Miggy, you don't get game-winning home runs Miggy. So you sacrifice that to what you get now. Shell Miggy. Miggy
Yep.
Shell.
Yep. Well, and this comes to the decision. I remember years ago, I took a lot of shit for suggesting that maybe you don't sign Miguel Cabrera to that contract. And the flip side is this. This is what you're living with right now. You can't trade Miguel Cabrera. Well, why not? Everybody else is getting traded. I mean, that's the way it is. You have to think long term for your franchise. Does Miguel Cabrera, and giving him a reward, and a well-deserved reward, does that mean that you can't trade him while his value is high so you can get some value in return? When you said that, even merely suggesting thinking about it, because I'm a guy, I want a general manager that's going to explore every option. If you aren't doing your due diligence, I got no time for you. You have to ask yourself those kinds of questions.
Right, but here's why you got attacked.
All right?
Because the sports fans around here is thinking, oh, the Tigers are still going to contend for the World Series, even after 2012 and 13 and 14. So why would you trade him?
You got that right.
And it sort of hasn't happened.
Hi, Maz. I want to say good morning to Maz.
He was one of Tigers.
So my question to both of you is, like, what is the Tigers' best course of action for a guy like Miggy, who is on a decline for the past 4 or 5 years? Like, what do they do right now?
You have to take somebody out, fill them full of tequila, and see if they'll trade for him. Now, that's not going to happen, but I'm saying you got to have booze involved. But right now, I think Miguel is a guy that you give up the notion that he's going to carry a team. Mm-hmm. The reason you have a guy like Miguel Cabrera is because for a 2 or 3 month period during the season, he's going to carry a team. You have to give up the notion that that's going to happen. So at this point, you just let him DH, maybe pinch hit now and then, and just keep him on your team because you can't trade him. But view him as a very high price secondary player. He's no longer the man. That's all you can get out of him.
Well, and I think this is what we were talking about before the break as well. I want you guys to think about this. Dave Dombrowski was broomed out of here in 2015, if you remember, right? So August of 2015, Al Avila, who had been in this system for years, took over as the general manager. Now, I want you guys to think about this, okay? We're coming up on 6 years of Al Avila being the general manager in this town. 6 years, okay? By comparison, Matt Millen, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. Matt Millen was in his last full season of general manager for, in essence, the amount of time that Al Avila has been on the job. I do not understand why people in this town don't like. Terry, I know I've said this to you before. I've never seen anything like this Al Avila thing in town.
Al Avila wasn't brought here to win.
Is it really?
That's the
is that what
dirty
it comes
little
down
secret.
To?
Yeah, he wasn't brought here to win. He was brought here to build up the farm system. So, Dombrowski started the process with the power arms, and then Al Avila was supposed to scout and find young talent. But the thing is you build up the farm system, and then I think you bring in the next guy to try to win. It's like Brad Ausmus. He's here to win. He wasn't brought here to win. He was brought here to develop young talent. So we got lied to.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Well, and that's I told you that's been my biggest problem with Al Avila you hear this from people all the time, and the routine is if you tell a lie enough, then soon it becomes the truth with some people. But I hear people say all the time, well, Al Avila couldn't spend, and it's like, what are you talking about? Look at some of the big contracts that he gave out his first year. Who signed Zimmerman? How about Pelfrey? How about Upton? Some of those contracts that I mean, look, a lot of them were disasters. And by comparison, Terry, you're right. I get that you had to start the rebuild of the farm system and everything, but here we are 6 years later. How many of these magical, mystical little names that we've heard are actually here helping the Detroit Tigers right now?
They're not. But some of the signings you talk about was Mike Ilitch trying to hang on to a farce. He's trying to hang on to the notion that they're still contenders. So you sign a guy like Zimmerman, who was a disaster. You sign some of these other guys, hoping upon hope that they become something. And but then once Mike Ilitch passed on, then it was like the Titanic. And maybe, and, you know, I'm not going to say maybe, but it was a mistake to try to sign some guys to big contracts when you had a disaster of a team and you had a guy that couldn't deliver a winner. It's like Randy Smith.
Hey, Zachary Johnson in the Facebook commenters, he just proposed something interesting. He said he thinks Miggy just needs to retire. Do you think with the money that is owed to him, they even have that type of conversation about pushing to him like, hey,
he's owed $92 million, I think.
I mean, he's not producing. I mean, do you eat
he's
it?
Still gonna get paid. Yeah, you got to eat the money.
Do you think I honestly think if he would have been able to hit the milestones, I think they would have worked something out, and he would have been paid his money. I think it would be in the best interest of both parties to have him somehow, some way, get to the 3,000 hits, get to the 500 home runs. I'm going to say it again, even as close as he is, I'm not sure he's going to get there.
But the Tigers don't want him to retire, and this is why. And maybe this is the wrong reason for this, but they want to have a guy on their team with 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. They want to have a guy walk out of here in the Hall of Fame, or is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he leaves on good terms. So that means a lot to the organization, even more than finding a suitable position for Miggy to be in where he can be productive, he can help the team. But, you know, now you need to talk about, are they better off having a baby Miggy in his place, or prospects taking his place, or do they still throw the first out there? You need to make that decision now.
I mean, he's virtually unplayable with the way he's going right now, and I don't even. Does he even hold up, let's say, 162 games? Does he even hold up 80 games this year?
No.
Obviously not.
No.
He's not holding up for 20.
No.
But,
well, and Terry, this goes back to your comment about being lied to. Look, there have been people, I've been making fun of best shape of his career for at least 5 years.
That story comes out every spring.
Every single year.
Best shape. Miggy looks great. He's slim. He's been climbing mountains and all this kind of crap. And then 2 weeks into the season,
and then it didn't help that he hit that opening day home run.
Right.
It didn't help because everybody just went.
Well, do you know what I call that? It's like I have a term for this. I call it the C moment. Okay.
Yeah.
C. Where people get mad at the likes of Corey or Terry or Sean. And the king of C to me is one Brandon Inge. And you know the adoration that people have for Brandon Inge in this town. Brandon Inge was another guy that, like, if you didn't realize it was over, you weren't paying attention. You didn't want it to be over. And there's a difference. Not wanting it to be over doesn't mean that it isn't over.
Yeah.
And so when you were on the radio and stop with the Brandon Inge stuff. Brandon Inge every now and again would show that flash, would hit that bomb. And I remember one time when he was with the A's, he hit this home run against the Tigers, and you would have thought that there was an explosion on my social media page. All these people, what do you got to say about Brandon Inge now? And he did it against the Tigers. I'm so happy for him.
He would do just enough to keep you interested.
And then 3 weeks later, his career was over. You know, and that's same thing. John Joseph Harrington. Remember Joey Harrington? There were some of us in town that said very early on, he isn't good, all right? And so when he went to Miami, like so many other players do, he had his moment in the sun against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, nonetheless. Oh my! No, what do you think? You ran him out of town, you monster! You nicknamed him Joey Blue Skies. He was out of the league. 2 weeks later, he lost his job to something called Cleo Lemon. But people are so desirous to be right that it doesn't matter if they hurt your team. They have to call Terry Foster or Sean Baligian or Corey with a K the bad guy. That's the way it is, and I think that's what we're dealing with a lot of times, especially with the Tiger. We're not done. And to your point, Corey, Miguel Cabrera had a C moment, and where are those jokes now about the best shape of his career? Yeah, did you see him running around in the snow? Come on.
All right, can I be mean for a second?
Yeah, I want you to be.
When was the last time Miguel Cabrera hit a home run down the left field line that he just pulled a ball and just knocked the shit out of it? I can't remember all of his home runs, and a home run is a home run. I understand that, but they're all opposite field. They're all to right center or right field, and because he can't get around on the pitch anymore. He's got to time a pitch and just hit it and hope the wind is blowing favorably and hit a home run.
Seriously? Really?
But he doesn't take it and just smack it down the left field line.
Nope.
Just stand there like Godzilla, like,
Nope.
yeah, look what I just did.
No. It's, well, and the reality is Terry, I think you hit on it. They would love nothing more than to have all of this just ride into the sunset, and we're all going to remember Miggy fondly, and we're not going to remember Corey. It is so sobering to hear you read those numbers from a few minutes ago, and I can't get it out of my head. Guys, that's 5 years ago. Not a couple years ago, okay?
2016.
That's 5 years ago. We have seen a shell of a Hall of Famer for really 5 years now.
Trent, but you know what this is all about?
What's that?
Statue. They got to put a statue of Miguel Cabrera out there in the outfield, but they feel they can't do it until it gets 503,000. So this is about granite. This is about concrete. This is about putting a monument out there for him, and about having another Tiger in the Hall of Fame where he's got on the Tiger cap, and this is what this is all about.
But doesn't that take some of the luster out of it, or lore, that he gets the number, but it's like he's hanging along just to hit that number. Like he's gonna struggle. He's gonna get the number in spite of being good.
Sure, today it does.
Today
but
it does.
100 years from now, it
You
won't.
got it.
Okay.
Here, can I give you an example even closer? You know who left a bad taste in a lot of people's minds around here? Here's a dirty little secret, okay? The beloved core of the Detroit Pistons, okay? The last few years, let's be brutally honest, that was an unlikable bunch.
Yeah.
They were an how much do we remember that today? Really, I don't remember it too much today. But those guys, if it ain't rough, it ain't right.
Going to work.
You know what? We tend to remember the good times, but the last few years of that group, very unlikable group to me personally. Very unlikable group to me.
I'm a huge Pistons fan, and I can just sit up here and say, like, this younger group right now, they're taking some ass kickings. I like this group significantly more than the past 5 years I've watched Detroit Pistons basketball.
Sure.
Because I'm able to believe in what's going on right now. And
I think that's the point. The tendency is, I think we remember the good times. Like at some point in time, those Barry Sanders, all right? If you'd have told guys like Terry and I that there would be a new worship and adoration and respect for Barry Sanders, and he would have been in the Detroit Lions family 20 years ago, Terry, I'm not going to speak for you. I didn't believe it. You wouldn't believe, people were pissed at Barry for the way he did things. Conversely, there were people that said, I'll never forgive the Lions for the way they did things. And you know what? Everybody seems to forget that stuff. Everybody seems to forget.
I think, at least from my understanding, people were more upset with the Lions than with Barry.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Barry could do no wrong when he was a player, and then when he just left, a bunch of people were like, whoa, wait a minute. But there were a lot of people say, yep, I don't blame him. I would have left too.
Yeah, I was like about 10 or 11 when that happened, and I don't remember the climate of the city, but I definitely remember the climate of my own household. And my father definitely blamed the Lions for Barry's departure.
Yeah, I think a majority did. But there were people out there as well that, I'll never respect Barry. He walked away. Those guys were there. We had to deal with it in the talk radio world and everything. And you know what? That's just a distant memory now. Nobody talks about that. Barry Sanders is going to be a Lion forever. you know, and I think that's the passage of time heals a lot of things. And so I think that's the long-winded way of saying, has it been fun watching Miguel Cabrera do this the last 5 years? No. And I think that the real disgusting part to me is the people out there that say that you're nuts because you can't see that Miggy is clearly in the best condition of his career. And what are you going to say when Miggy bounces back and has 40 home runs this year? You'll see. You'll all see. I'll forget about it, and I'll remember the good Miguel
Were they
Cabrera.
talking about 40 home runs in spring training?
Yes, absolutely.
That must have been it, because that's when he's in his best shape.
Yeah, there's another one. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking at is you know what? Eventually, we're going to forget about this last few years. And, you know, some of the comments on here, he can't turn his hips like he used to. Kevin said he turns every other part of his body that's not meant to be turned. That's where we're at right now. I mean, that's the reality with Miguel Cabrera. If you think that this guy's going to stay healthy, you haven't been paying attention. Just because you want a guy to stay healthy doesn't mean he's going to stay healthy. I would love for Miguel Cabrera to get his 500th home run, to get his 3,000 hit, and then get the hell out of here. Find a way to make a happy contract and, you know, write him the check and thanks for everything. We'll have a Miguel Cabrera day and everybody can give him an ovation. And they'll eventually put the statue out in the park. But, guys, it's not going to happen. It's just I don't think he's going to get there. I just don't think he's going to get to either one of those marks.
He'll squeeze enough home runs and hits to do it. They'll keep putting him in the lineup until he gets there, even if he's 50. They'll find a way, because you understand they're all about PR. They just want that statue. They want the 500 and the 3,000, and they'll stretch this out as long as they can. Now, by the time he gets there, they might be paying him $175,000 a year, but they'll get there.
The Bobby Bow.
Yes.
Could they work out a deal like that? The Bobby Bow. It's nothing better. Doesn't he? What is it? He gets $1 million on July 1st, right? And I think it goes all the way to 2034. Is that when it is?
Let me look that up real quick.
God bless America. What a wonderful.
That should be me.
We could work something like that out, Terry.
Yeah.
All we have to do is make some ribs for somebody, and they'll keep giving us like.
They better love those ribs.
They do. How much are you willing to pay for those?
Bobby
ribs,
Bonilla going to get paid $1.2 million every July 1st until 2035.
2035.
Bless him.
2035.
God bless you. He has been. This is a guy. He hasn't played for that team in what, 21 years, and he still gets that check from the Mets. God bless America. Isn't America a beautiful place?
Well, I think part of that is because they know athletes throw their money away, so they're trying to help the athlete by giving them a little salary until they're 80 years old.
Great stuff. All right, so we got to take one more break. When we come back, kind of a potpourri of things to head on, just to recap what's going on here today. So glad you could join us wherever you may be. Corey with the K, far side, Terry in the middle. My name is Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking Thorogood boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
You know, another thing, and I don't know how this kind of became a theme today, but things that have blown up or maybe come down. College football has just absolutely exploded in my lifetime. Period. End of story. Terry, I think you brought it up earlier. To a vast majority of people, college football Saturday was your Big Ten game at noon, a Pac-10 game in the afternoon that maybe you watched, and then you were done for the day, right? And I remember when I was a kid, some of my friends were like, what are you doing watching that SEC stuff that was on CBS? I thought it was
product.
I thought it was cool as hell. I mean, it was just a different thing, and you're just trying to be different. it was a fun thing. And now college football has become an all-encompassing thing. But the transfer portal is a huge topic of discussion in the college world now.
And the football, not all, but a lot of football coaches are coming out saying how bad it is for the game and that it's difficult for them as coaches to know who's going to be with their team next year. And I understand that, but I'm glad the athletes have some say in where they're going to play.
Agreed.
I'm glad they can say, you know what? You lied to me. I came here. I trusted you. It's not working out here. I want to go somewhere else. So you get a one-time deal. You don't have to sit out because coaches can leave anytime they want, start coaching whenever they want, make millions of dollars. And so athletes should have a one-time deal where it's the same thing. Let's give some rights to the people who we come to see play. I don't go to Ann Arbor to see Jim Harbaugh. I didn't go to Michigan State to see Mark D'Antoni. I came to see the players. I came to see the logos, came to see the competition. And these guys had no rights, no money, no nothing. So let them have a little something. If it's not working out somewhere, let them go somewhere and let them play the next year.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this is Terry. This is an idea that is so long overdue, and I think part of the problem that so many people like yours truly have had, the NCAA's archaic and as you mentioned, just contradictory mindset. Is something that has always driven me nuts. And at least we don't hear the most dreaded words known to man that often anymore. It's about the student athlete, which just makes me go like knock it off. Can we drop the pretense? This is $1 million money making opportunity. Just drop the pretense. You're not fooling anybody, and let's just call it for what it is.
Yeah, and it's just part of the process. It's part of the process of keeping a team together. Maybe, coaches, instead of bitching about players leaving, maybe you should make your program where people want to stay.
Absolutely.
Maybe you shouldn't lie to athletes all the time and then change things once they get under your umbrella. Maybe you can treat the product better, and maybe more guys would stay. How about that?
I'm with you both. My thoughts flip-flop on this from when it first came out to now, because as I started to learn how corrupt the NCAA is. I was stuck in my ways, just off, I guess you can say, brainwashed condition. Like, hey, you signed at that school, so you go ahead and you stay and you honor your commitment to playing for that school and blah 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 blah. And then I started thinking like, well, I started out at Wayne State. And I left the Wayne State because opportunities for me at Wayne State that I thought were going to be there were no longer there. So I went ahead and I transferred to Eastern Michigan, and it became it was better for me. I had the opportunities that I was looking for, and the ones that were promised that will be afforded to me. So same thing with the college athlete. If you commit to this school and you're told that X, Y, and Z is going to happen and it doesn't, then why the hell should you have to stay there? You should be able to go. Mike Weber was on the show on Friday. He committed to Michigan under the impression that Brady Hoke was going to be there. Brady Hoke was gone, so he went ahead and got rid of that letter of intent and went to Ohio State. I believe that you're not paying the college athlete right now. They don't want to do it. So at bare minimum, they should be able to be like, you know what? Coach lied to me. He told me I was going to go ahead and get burned. Let me go ahead and go somewhere else that's going to give me the opportunity to get where I need to be, or a better situation for my career. I don't understand what's the big deal about it.
Here's the other dirty secret about sports and athletics. There's no such thing as loyalty.
No.
Because the fans are always saying, well, they should be loyal to the program. Now, I don't hear them complain when the coach says, okay, I brought this guy in. I don't like the way he's playing. Get out of here.
Yep.
Get out. Because you're not up to, you're not meeting my expectations.
And thing is, coaches are not always, we've already seen it, coaches are not always loyal. Look at John Beilein. Think about all the guys who were on that team, on that Michigan team, then like a thief in the night, he just ups and takes the Cleveland job and doesn't tell anybody. He talks to them after the fact.
Right.
I mean, loyalty it's got to be a two-way street when you're talking about loyalty. You know, players being loyal to the program. The program has to be loyal to the players too.
No, but the program doesn't have to be loyal to the athletes.
Well, they should be.
They should be, but they don't have to be. They can do whatever they want to do. And you know what the fan says? That's my program. So,
young Terry
Foster
leaves Cass Tech and decides that he wants to go into the newspaper business. He wants to eventually be a columnist. Young Terry Foster goes to Central Michigan and is told, if you come to Central Michigan, we have a great program, a journalism division that will help you out. Right? That's what you do. Well, if Terry Foster went to Central Michigan, and when he got to Central Michigan, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't have a journalism program.
I'm out.
He's gone.
Yep.
Right? And that's why, so if part of the reason that you bring me in, young Sean Baligian, I envision you as our next great quarterback at the University of Corey with a K. Okay? You know what? I would love to be your next quarterback at University of Corey with a K. If I'm 2 years in and Terry Foster starting and then they brought in another recruit by the name of Fish, well, guess what? I'm going to be like that kid, young Terry Foster, leaving Cass Tech going, I thought I was getting a journalism degree. There's no journalism degree. Late. Of course you're going to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, these are common sense discussions, and sometimes when I hear people say, "No, the guy you have to stick with it," it's like, what are you talking about?
And they will hit you hard on that. You got to stick it out.
What?
You made a commitment. Come on now, what's wrong with you? You're not strong. You're not tough. You know, they try to guilt you into staying.
I for the life of me, I can't. I mean, apply that to your own life. I mean, you're talking about lifetime decisions, right? And if I have an opportunity to really weigh my pros and cons and go, this isn't working out the way that I wanted it to be, give the kid the opportunity to pull the chute and go someplace else.
Now, if you do start at quarterback and you don't meet the expectations of the fans, they'll call you an asshole and say, get the hell out of here. We don't want you.
Now, question. What do you say about the fan who gets on those kids for leaving, say like, oh, you need to stick it out, you need to honor your commitment and stay and be true to your word and tough it out and earn your spot at that school? What do you say to that fan?
Well, I think,
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. If you're hammering these kids on Twitter about where their commitment is before they commit to your school, or God forbid that they actually changed their mind. If you're one of those people that are hammering the kids, go get psychological help. Really.
Because these fans don't care about the athletes. All they care about is the Block M, the Spartan emblem. They only care about the program. Now, if you want to abuse and take advantage of athletes, fine. Is that the best for the program? Do it. What was Bo's big saying? The program or the team, the team. That's the only thing that matters. And it doesn't, the athletes, if you fit in there and do a great job, fine. If you don't meet our expectations, get out of here. I never want to see you again.
Why? I'm just kind of confused. Just my own personal confusion. Maybe you guys can lead me, out of my confusion. Why is there a group of fans who are more concerned about the best interest of, I don't want to say they're more concerned about the best interest of the program, but why do you think they don't care about these players' best interests? Like, I don't get it. Like, I see so many people, like you're saying, talking about when Tariq Black transferred. Who are you, Tariq? Who are you to transfer and go to Texas? I mean, you should have did a better job at Michigan. Why are you going to leave right now? Like, people don't care about their opportunities. Why is that?
Because all they care about is I paid my $85 or $100 to go to this game. And when I go to this game, I want you to win. If you don't win, my afternoon has been spoiled. It's been ruined. So win the game, win the Big Ten, Try to go to a championship. That's all I care about. I don't care how you do it. I mean, for instance, programs have changed offenses, and people say, "Well, you're changing the wishbone. This is boring." Well, not if they go 10-0. It's not boring. Not if they go 11-1. Not if they're in the national championship game, because no matter how you get there, if my team is on top of the heap, that's all I care about. Plus, I'm buying tickets. I'm buying my jerseys. I'm buying my sweatshirts. I'm buying my hats. So I want to have pride in what I'm wearing. And athletes, I just don't care what happens to you. If you rush for 200 yards, you're my best guy. And I'll give you an example. I was at the Sugar Bowl. Alabama was playing somebody, and there was this old Alabama fan, and a guy got too close to her, and she recoiled like she was afraid of the guy. Then she turned around and noticed it was an Alabama player. Then instead of recoiling, she ran out. She reached out to hug the guy. So, it's old Billy Boy. What's going on, Billy Boy? Love you. No, you were scared of this motherfucker like 2 seconds ago. Now you love him. That's the relationship between fans and athletes.
It's a trash relationship. It's trash mentality. But whatever.
No, well, and anything around here too has been magnified 100 times, because I say it all the time. You have a group of fans around here whose world has been absolutely turned upside down in the last 15, 20 years. I'm serious when I say this. I know people think I troll. I get it. What I grew up with was knowing that Michigan was going to be playing, especially in college football, for a Big Ten title in the next couple of years. You just set your watch to it, all right?
Yeah.
That they were more often than not going to beat Michigan State, that they were, even back then, more often than not going to beat Ohio State, and they were going to win a Big Ten, and they were going to go to the Rose Bowl, leaders and best and all that stuff. And so I think that's why people, whether they want to admit it or not, is inconsequential to me. That's why people are very touchy about college football around here, because their birthright has been taken away from them. And so that's why, no. Why wouldn't you want to be at Michigan? Well, I hate to tell you, why would you want to be at Michigan now? Really? Based on what? And so that's part of what we're
30
dealing
years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of what we're dealing with now. And as sure as I'm sitting here, I just said that and said, I can't believe you said that. What do you want me to do? You want me to keep lying like people around here do? And unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with right now. Is clearly this class led by Terry Reginald Foster, that stud running back out of Cass Tech, this is going to be the class that puts this program back on the pedestal and where it was supposed to be. And we've all been living under that umbrella for many years now.
Yeah, you notice just about every year, Michigan is always ranked higher at the beginning of the season than what they're ranked at the end of the season. That's because people remember what they were 30 years ago. They remember what they were under Bo. And these last 10, 12 years, aberration. So if Michigan is the 15th best program in the nation, they're going to be ranked 9th. If they're the 40th best team in the nation, they're going to be ranked 20th. That's just the way it is. Because we are still living in the past.
Yep.
The past is hard to delete.
No doubt about that. Hey, boys, pleasure being with you guys again. Corey, you're going to be back in the morning, right?
Yeah, I miss waking up late, but hey, I'll see y'all back in the morning show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. It's been a week and a day, maybe a little bit longer.
And don't get them to change your mind all the time.
I backed off of that. You already gave me a good talking to, and I've upped my my vocals.
All right.
And Terry, you're going to be back Thursday, right?
Yes.
He'll be on in the morning and stick around a little bit for Joik and I. Joik is going to be back tomorrow, so Joik and I are going to be back together for the first time in about 6 years. I think it's been 6 years since we did a show together, but great to be back. Thanks to everybody for not only watching, but all the guys behind the scene. Fish, you my man. You all right? You going to be with us tomorrow, Fish?
I will be here. Yes, sir.
All right. Always a pleasure to Fish, sponsored by 8 Mile Vodka. I love seeing it. Can we go back to that? Look at. Let's go back. Yeah,
So
right there.
So the fish is swimming in vodka and not water. That's
my man.
Drunk as a fish.
All right, listen. Peace, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. So glad you could join us. Make sure that you check out The Hook coming up in just a couple hours right here on Woodward Sports.
Make fun of my ass.